Welcome to Dreadborne Tales. Dare to listen if you can handle the dread.
This might sound insane, but hear me out. Back in high school there was this kid, let's call him Patrick. His real name, which I won't even write down, sounded like something ripped from a Shakespearean tragedy. Patrick wasn't just weird. He was unsettling. He moved through the halls like a shadow, silent and deliberate. His eyes hidden behind dark sunglasses he never removed, even inside. Teachers stopped asking him to take them off because he simply wouldn't. He wore the same gray hoodie every single day, never washing it, judging by the putrid smell that followed him like a curse. There was something about the way he carried himself, something that made people instinctively uneasy. Patrick had no friends, not really. But he had this habit. He would pick people. If he liked you, some random, unknowable selection process, you were adopted. That's what he called it. Being adopted by Patrick meant you were safe. From what? No one knew, but the way he said it made your skin crawl. I was one of the unlucky few. Looking back, maybe he had a crush on me. Another girl, Gabby, was also among the chosen. Patrick's obsession with her was obvious, and we all knew it. One afternoon, a few of us were hanging out behind the school on the dugouts. Gabby, Luke, Laura, and me. The conversation drifted to Patrick's weird crush, and we were laughing about it, throwing around a nickname we used for him since his real one felt too heavy. Then Laura slipped up. She said his real name 3 times. The moment the third syllable left her lips, Patrick appeared. Not walked up, not called out. He was just there, standing on top of the dugout with a baseball bat clutched in his hands. We froze. My breath caught in my throat. He stared at us, unblinking, before giving me a slow, deliberate nod and leaping down. He disappeared into the trees, leaving behind a silence so thick it swallowed the laughter that once filled the air. We laughed it off later, but deep down something had shifted. The second time it happened, I was at Laura's house. We were in her room chatting when, again, his name slipped out 3 times. Minutes later, the front door slammed. Laura and I exchanged looks before rushing downstairs. Her mom was already at the door, chatting casually with Patrick, as if his sudden presence in her home was completely normal. "What are you doing here?" she asked. "I was summoned," he said. My stomach turned. Laura's mom, knowing Patrick through some old neighborhood ties, made small talk before gently telling him to leave. He obeyed without a word. As soon as the door shut, Laura and I raced back upstairs, whispering frantically. It had happened again. Twice wasn't a coincidence. We told our friends the next day, and everyone swore we wouldn't say his name 3 times ever again. But some people don't listen. A few months later, we were at Johnny's house, lounging on his back deck. The conversation inevitably circled back to Patrick. Despite our warnings, Johnny scoffed, calling it all ridiculous. Then, grinning, he said Patrick's name 3 times in a row. Nothing happened. He smirked, smug, arms crossed, until out of nowhere, Patrick vaulted over the backyard fence. He landed silently, stared at us. Then, without a word, he leapt back over and vanished into the night. Johnny freaked. He accused us of setting him up, of playing some elaborate joke, but none of us were laughing. We left in silence that night, an unspoken fear settling into our bones. Then came the worst night of all. I was home alone, a rare occurrence. A storm rolled in, rain tapping against the windows in a steady rhythm. I had invited a guy over, just a casual hangout. At some point, Patrick came up in conversation. I tensed, my entire body reacting to the name. My friend noticed and laughed. "You're actually scared of this kid." I begged him not to say it. He grinned, and before I could stop him, he yelled Patrick's name 3 times. The moment the third call rang out, the rain intensified, hammering against the house. A crack of lightning illuminated the yard. And he was there. Patrick stood in the driveway, staring up at my window. I screamed, stumbling backward. My friend ran to the window, but by the time he looked, Patrick was gone. My heart slammed against my ribs. I bolted downstairs to check the doors, making sure every lock was secured. Then I saw him again. This time he was in the front yard, standing deathly still in the downpour. My breath hitched. A horrible thought struck me. He was going to find a way inside. Panic took over. I did the only thing I could think of. I started screaming, "I'm adopted," over and over, as if it would keep me safe. My friend grabbed me, trying to calm me down, but I couldn't stop.
Hi everyone, I hope you enjoyed this story. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more spine-chilling tales. I'll see you again with another creepy story. Until then, stay safe.